Look, we need to talk about Fed Kashikari, what's going to be happening on Friday, and why I believe we are just starting. We've actually started to push up this morning, but what have we been highlighting? Continuous lower highs. This sides with the downtrend. I'm going to show you the plays that we mentioned yesterday, where they're at now, and why nothing has changed in my opinion, and actually why I've got more confirmation in my opinion that we have more bleeding to start occurring. Let's get to it. Now, the first thing we're going to go over some of the charts really quick, and then we're going to jump into a few of the things that we're worried about for the downside, right? Now, I've been very as honest as possible, right? I try to remain as calm, cool, collected as possible. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit out of sorts with the dress code today, but I have some stuff I need to go do here in a second, but I need to get this out real quick, okay? When we look at what's happening here on the market, we continue to make lower highs. Now, what do we mean by this? Let's go really quick to the 4 hour, and then we'll come back in. What's happening? Every pivot to where you bounce back to the upside, lower high, 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 day in, day out. Okay, so what do we know? From the technical point of view, we are clearly trending down, and we're also making lower lows at that. Now, some people are going to say, well, Tyler, hey, in the past 12 hours, we're making higher highs. Okay, look, I don't come here to help you be, biased. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. If this is the channel you're coming to, you're not going to get that. You're going to get the God's honest truth out of my mouth. I don't care if I'm wrong. I don't really care if I'm right. It's about giving you the truth as quickly and as efficiently as possible, and providing some factual knowledge behind it as well, using fundamentals and technicals. Now, when we look at what's happening, we can all agree on that's what's happening there on the higher time frames. Going to about the 2, we can see again, we didn't even push back into supply today. Yesterday we got rejected, came right back down, and then you can see we're still trending by that, right above the 200 MA, and you made a lower low here on the day, near the end of the day. Now, what I want to show you is going to be jarring. This is probably the worst thing that I'm looking at right now. And it is going to be the monthly candle that is printing so far on NASDAQ. And then we'll go into ES here in a second. Giving you a visual. Like, this is the only thing that we're going to go, and we have a lot to talk about today. But this is concerning. It's not a gravestone. It's not a gravestone. Okay, I'm going to tell you that right now. I posted this on Twitter to warn everyone today when you were pushing up and everyone was getting euphoric about us trying to push up. I was like, it's not going to happen. But again, it's not a gravestone, but it's very close. This still signifies how weak of a market we are in my opinion. We had a strong push up almost to 13,000 and a 1,000-point rejection, ending essentially where we started. Okay, very weak. Now, really quick, let's churn through some of this information, in my opinion, that has me very concerned. Now, really quickly, let's go over that. And before we get into that, I got to ask you to do 2 things. Consider liking, consider subscribing, right? I've already told you I try to give you unbiased content as much as possible. We have now the educational videos, more on Jay Ream's channel. But look, Option Drops is here to be the number 1 tool to help you trade in this market. That's our goal here, right? We have the Discord, and right now it's booked up. You can check if there's spots, but last I checked, the $60 and $30 tier were capped out, so I don't think there's any spots. Some will become available probably next month, but we want to focus on giving you as much free content as possible. That's why right now, again, the newsletter came out on Sunday. If you're not subscribed, the link is down below. This cost us money to run the newsletter. This is a few $100 out of my pocket every single month, okay? It's totally free. There's no advertisements. As you can see on here, all it is information. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not selling you anything. It's all free. You get the data reports, charts on what we're liking, Tesla, Nvidia, everything in between, what we're looking at, entry opportunities, everything in there, getting you ready every single week. Again, every Sunday this is released, so make sure you check it out. The link is going to be down below. But let's get back into it. So I want to go back to Twitter real quick. And there was a few things here on Twitter that caught my interest today. Now, number 1, we had everyone's coming out with bad points of view, right? So number 1, the Fed might raise policy rates to 6%, Bank of America. Now, Bank of America is not even one of the investment banks that was coming out with the most bearish thesis. We had JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley, and those were the real big bears, if you will. Those ones really see the downside. Bank of America has been a little bit optimistic, but now they see us possibly going to 6%. Why? Because of data. data, that is it. Next up, this was the concerner for me. Consumer confidence. And I want to give you a quick visual. Let's just go really quick out here. And as you can see, basically over the past year, if we've missed consumer confidence, it's been by a point or two, typically. Okay, 2 points, 4 points back here in October. We saw a little bit of a decline from that point of view. It's about 4 points on the dot. That's pretty much it. It's our highest one. Today we got a shocker. A 6-point drop in consumer confidence. Now, am I going to say consumer confidence is the end-all be-all indicator of the market? No. But what it does move and what it does make me concerned about is what's happening and what the Fed has been saying. What did we have? We had Bullard talk about confidence in the market. What did he say when we mentioned it here on the channel a few days ago? Bullard says we need to act quickly so that we can confirm and retain confidence from the consumer. Now, it seems like Bullard was on to something, because we've had our biggest miss in consumer confidence in over a year. I mean, let's go back a little bit further. I mean, this is looking like their biggest miss in the past 2 years, possibly 3 years. I mean, all the way back to 2020, August 25th. Surprise, we were in a pandemic, right? So going all the way back there, biggest miss so far. Okay, going back from yesterday, what happened? What did Jefferson say? There's no illusion that the fight will be quick, right? The inflation target, right? We have also talked about them wanting to move their inflation target and how what would that do? It would, one, drop consumer confidence even further, which I don't even know how there's any consumer confidence in the first place in the Fed right now. Okay, that's where we're at fundamentally. Tomorrow morning we have Kashikari. Again, more Fed speakers will be speaking progressively. On Friday we have Bostic and we have a few others. So Friday is pretty loaded as well. Now, going back to the chart where we're at. Now, really quick, I want to go back over these monthly candles that are printing in here. And a lot of you're not going to hear me talk heavily about candle prints and what really happens out here. But what you will hear me say on repeat is going to be how you react on the higher time frame candles. For instance, if we look at this, in my opinion here on the NASDAQ, I mean, it looks somewhat like a bear flag on the monthly candle. That's just absolutely mind-blowing and kind of jarring, right? Now, let's just take a quick look at the ES. Maybe this one looks a little bit better. Oh, wait, no, it looks absolutely worse. Absolutely terrible candle, giving up everything that you've gained out here, right? So that's where we're at right now here on ES, here on NQ. Not optimal, to say the least, on the higher time frames. Now, coming back in here, going over ES, going over NQ, okay, I'm not going to lie to you. Tomorrow, key targets, what I'm looking for is how do we react if we come down to the 200 SMA? I mean, obviously, that's where we're targeting now. Can we get below it? If we flip the 200 SMA, I believe the drop is in the works quickly. What do we know right now? Next week, Tuesday, that is the day. Mark it on your calendars. Get a marker. I can't even find a marker here on my desk because, honestly, I'm going absolutely ballistic when I'm looking at the put opportunities that are out here. What did I tell y'all yesterday? Nvidia, Tesla, Amazon. Those are my favorite plays right now, right? And Microsoft's creeping up there as well. I'm going to go over those charts here in a sec. But I'm telling you, when we look at these charts, if you start to flip the 200 SMA, let me just give you a visual of kind of what's happened here when we flip this 200 SMA, right? We're going to go quickly over here to TradingView just so I can show you really quick, bring up that 200 SMA on the daily. Now, really quick here on, what's happened specifically on, ES, S&P futures. What happens when we break below that? Well, last time we broke below it, going all the way, or this is the second to last time, December 15th, we dropped from 4,033 down to lows of locally 3,782. That's roughly, a 300-point drop here on ES S&P futures, right? Pretty drastic. Before that, and that was in a matter of 2 days, not even, I don't think, maybe 2-3 days. From here, same day, we dropped from 3,982 down to 3,900, about a 100-point drop in a day. Now, before this, when we would just get rejected, we rejected from 4,300 and fell to lows of 3,500. Now, am I saying that drastic of a drop is going to occur? No. However, I do believe, and quote me on this, and I know I'm going to get a lot of comments down below, and I've been getting comments. I've been seeing people say, Tyler, you're wrong, we're bullish. Look, I don't worry about a 1 hour chart. 1 hour charts are cool. If I'm scalping, awesome. But what I'm trying to get you guys prepared for is the trend at hand. Because again, what do we keep saying here on the channel? Where do we make our money as traders? Do we make our money in this chop? Do we? Do we make our money on the little slight drops? No. You wouldn't be coming to this channel if that was the case, right? You come to this channel when we're preparing to flip trend, right? Where did we start flipping the trend? When we got below 40.50, when we got below 12.4 NASDAQ, right? We don't make our money in this chop. This is not where we make our money. We are brutally aware of that. We make our money on the breakouts. That's where we trade here, right? That's where we make all of our money. And when we look at this and we identify it, we're looking for another big breakout towards the downside to make our money again. That's why February was so profitable for the last week of January, first week of February. It made up for all that lost time that we had. So that's our focus right now. So anyone that has something negative to say, I'd like to tell you right now, thank you for paying the bills here. Thank you for paying Jay Ream. Thank you for supporting the channel, because all you're doing is feeding the ego here on the channel, because all we do is produce for you. That's really in all actuality. And I'm sorry if you're new, you're like, Tyler, this guy's cocky, but I have to challenge you and make you understand something. You got to be cocky in this game. You have to have a sort of swagger, if you will, because if you come to this market timid, not confident, do you really have faith in that? If you're putting your money on the line, I'm putting thousands of dollars on the line every day. You can, I'll post it whenever you want, right? On Twitter, I do it all the time, right? You got to have confidence in this game. And I would question anyone that doesn't have confidence in what they're doing here. So that's where we're at on ES. Absolutely brutal. You break below 200 SMA. Again, clear targets are set all the way down here locally to around 39.26, 3,900 flat. I think you'd get there very quickly. Now going into NQ, again, same visual of what's happening here. It's not a shocker, right? We start breaking below this and we're looking for immediate downside. And the targets aren't even that clear because you're so illiquid now. And if we look at these reactions, it's just some key levels. Okay. I mean, this is really my next target on NQ. If we start breaking and holding below 200 SMA, it's going to be the 200 weekly, which is down near 11.65, 11.68 roughly. So almost 300 to 400 points of downside there. And giving you a visual of what's happened when you break below or get rejected of the 200 SMA. First of all, you haven't even been below or above the 200 SMA on the daily on NQ in over a year. But when you've reacted to this, it's been violent and it's been brutal. Again, not me making it up. Just look at the stats for yourself, right? So that's where you're at, and that's what's happening here right now. And giving you a better little visual of when we go to something like Bookmap, again, the link is down below if you want to check them out. Look at this. Look at the movement here. Okay, you get this little bit of upside, this chop back and forth, and we can see, like we've been talking about on Bookmap, when you see those orders up here, you have a little bit of fight in you. It's not necessarily that aggressive. So when you're pushing up and there's leaving orders down here, as a support, you're still strong trying to push up, but you don't have that FOMO buying or that hyper aggressive buying. But what happens here near the end of the day? What takes place here on ES? Look at this hyper aggressive selling happening. No walls. It's just slapping the ask. Okay. All they're doing is buying at the bid. They are market ordering in, shorting, and selling. And that's where you see all the aggression. And I can only show you this so many times. Bookmap gives you a great visual to look at what's happening here. But again, I can only show you where the strength is happening in the market so many times. When we look at volume, we look at everything that's occurring right now. It was the same as the upward trajectory. It was the same as the upward movement. But now it's flipped towards the downside. All that strength is pushing us down. And when we see any bounces, there's no confirmation. There's no follow through. There's no higher highs. There's no breaking structure. There's no breaking trend, right? I'm just trying to help you guys out and see what's happening here. And that's where we're at right now. And hey, by the way, comment down below if anything that we've been talking about has helped you out whatsoever. I want to know what helps, what works, what you guys want to see more of, what I should focus on more for you guys. Now, going back to the chart, you know what? I think we've gone over futures enough. We understand we break below 200 SMA. We're bearish, right? And if you want to get more of this information, I recommend following me on Twitter. I do post all the charts. If you wanted more information on NVIDIA, it was there. I posted it last night. NASDAQ targets, everything in between, it's all there, right? We post it all, okay? It's literally all there for you. I can't say it anymore. So if you want to learn, you want stuff, it's there. It's absolutely free. And then obviously too, the newsletter. Now, let's go over some charts. It's about that time, right? Today's video is gonna be a little bit quicker. Now, first up, NVIDIA. I mean, this chart, I'm not gonna lie, you had me in the first half of NVIDIA, you had me. Now, when we look at NVIDIA, a lot of people were saying you're getting into ascending triangle. You kind of were. But I'm gonna tell you right now what concerns me, okay? And I wanna give you a little, now it's not even just a technical play on NVIDIA. Now it's a fundamental play. Because when we look at what's happening, what's happening? Okay. Almost a triple top at 238.9. Beautiful rejection here at the end of the day from 238 basically down to 232. Now, what's happening with semiconductors, in my opinion, is fundamentally bearish. So if you know about the CHIPS Act, the CHIPS bill that's going to be released, this has been a very bullish tone set on semiconductors. But the U.S. government, little ace, in their sleeve, they are trying to manipulate and control the way in which we can handle this. Because right now we're trying to get a max exodus out of China, out of Taiwan, bring everything in-house in America, which is awesome. It's good. You'll have more overall stability, less uncertainty with, geopolitical climates and what's happening right now. This is good. But what America wants to do is they want to control what these companies do with that money. They basically are going after them and not letting them use this money for stock buybacks. And we even saw Warren Buffett go on an absolute tangent this weekend in his investor letter that was released on Saturday. Go read it. It's online. Just type in Warren Buffett on Google. It'll pop right up. Now, what's happening here is we expected, because what have we not? We've seen stock buybacks across the board. On Meta, we saw a $40 billion stock buyback on Meta. Like, are you kidding me? Amazon, every company's doing it. But semiconductors have been slow to pull the trigger. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they knew that this CHIPS bill was coming and they were probably going to delegate some of the money that they got and dump it into stock buybacks. But the U.S. said, no. There will be extreme tax repercussions if you do so. So now we're seeing this happen of maybe this isn't as bullish as we thought. They might build factories here in America, but that's going to take a long time. It's not going to be a short process. We saw it with TSM and what's happening now. So again, NVIDIA, love the downside opportunity. If we start sliding and NQ gets below the 200 SMA, of course, bada bing, bada boom, NVIDIA is going to get absolutely decimated. If I was looking for any type of entry opportunity, again, I already have my puts. I've been very aggressive on this. Sue me. Do whatever you want. I've been a very big bear here. So I've been grabbing more and more puts just over and over. But the real play secure is if you break below lows around 230, 229.5 and retest or push down, or if you get a straight break of 227.6. That'd be an entry opportunity immediately when you break below that. You have a giant gap down. But I don't even think I think the gap is the tip of the iceberg when we're looking at this. Again, everyone here I'm getting a lot of criticism for what my viewpoints here, but look at how much NVIDIA has run since the beginning of the year. 140 to 240. Insanity. Now, I'm not saying NVIDIA is not a great company. It's fantastic. I love them. It's a solid company. Don't get me wrong. But as of right now, you definitely have room to the downside. You break below 204, you're probably coming down to 190, possibly even lower. You know what I mean? So these are areas you got to be looking forward to or looking at least towards. NVIDIA is well below the 200 SMA as well. When we look at a competitor like AMD, look where it's operating. It's at the 200 SMA. So you're operating so much more extended than these other names. That's why I love NVIDIA. I believe it has downside opportunity. Attack me, sue me. It's worth the risk in my opinion. Tesla, number 2. Again, I'm going to start going over Tesla every single day. Honestly, I think it's just like such a good day trading stock. So it's just like I have to. But let's talk about Tesla. Tesla, I woke up this morning, I'm not gonna lie, I shit a few times. I was very concerned. I was pants ruined, right? Had to change them like 3 times watching this thing. Now, when we look at what's happening with Tesla, I know you're gonna have your crazies out here say, oh, you're making a Head and Shoulders. Possibly, but it's the ugliest Head and Shoulders I probably have ever seen. But I still think it's bearish, okay? You have your 200 SMA at 221. You have your local highs around 218. So I think you have plenty of resistance here. You do have your investor day tomorrow. Now, what we saw from today was Elon Musk, and I tweeted this out so people could be a little bit aware of what's happening here, right? This was concerning. So Elon Musk came out, and all he did was tweet like one thing. It was really based AI, and you immediately moved from like 205 to 208 instantly. So I do assume tomorrow Elon will mention AI. I assume he will talk about the new factory or their new engineering team they're working on to create a ChatGPT competitor. I 100% think he will, but I'm still a bear. Okay. He might mention a Cybertruck unless they announce numbers that are out of this world. Again, what do we assume? If the market is dropping, what do we think is going to happen to stocks, right? How often do stocks run against the trend of the market? Do the math. Okay. That's what we're focused on there. Next up, Amazon. Dude, Amazon. Dear God. Ay, Chihuahua. Man, if I could speak Spanish, I'd only speak Spanish talking about this one. Muy caliente. When we look at what's happening here on Amazon, it is the most beautiful structure ever. I mean, honestly, the top is just like, because you don't really, you're not aligned here. When we look at what's happening on the top of this, you're literally just pushing down. It's just so weak. You're just pushing down. Okay. I love Amazon. We came right back up today. We're testing supply, right? Topside supply. It's a bigger range. It sucks to say it, but it's like $1.50, $2 range. But you're getting rejected out of it right now, in my opinion. It's so weak. I love this play, guys. Amazon, unless they have news coming out, I'm very bearish here. I see more downside. All I'm looking for here is a break of trend, start making some lower lows here. And I think we're back in business. I've just added to this position as well. I'm heavy short. I can say that right now. My risk tolerance is pretty open right now, unless we start getting some news around the Fed saying that they are, not hawks. I don't believe we will get that news. That is my personal opinion. I remain with the same tone. I was looked at crazy when I started playing the upside. I was looked at crazy when I started playing the downside, but I stick to my guns here on this channel. And like I say, guys, I'm not going to change. Unbiased as it gets, I will be here tomorrow. Make sure you check us out. Have a good one, traders. Good luck tomorrow.